Well, I know it's been a few months since we've been able to talk to you. How have you enjoyed your stay back in Lexington and coaching this group?
I've been really enjoying myself. We've got a great group of young men. They're working extremely hard, and just excited to see their growth every day. And excited to see where this takes us.
Well, with Jacob and Lance out, what is this team missing that those guys can provide whenever they are healthy again?
Those guys are unique. They bring a certain toughness, a different energy. Not that we're missing it, but it's something that they add to our team, which is a great luxury to have when you have the kind of depth that we do have. But it's giving Bryce and Damian an opportunity to come out and get some great experience and playing time now, and with going up against some other guys. So it's going to benefit us down the road. This is a long season. Injuries are part of what we have to deal with in athletics, and they've been great in terms of stepping up and doing what we've asked them.
Specifically on Bryce, what have you seen from his development? It seemed like he was exceeding expectations early, then he got hurt, and then maybe he stepped back a little bit.
Not necessarily that he stepped back, it's that some of those other guys have stepped up, and it's given Bryce an opportunity to get better defensively, understand our schemes, get in better shape, and I think he still has a really bright future, and he's doing a lot of good things, and this time has helped him.
We've been in an era for a decade or so where it's a three-pointer or a dunk, take it to the basket. Not a lot of mid-range jumpers anymore. What's it say about Keon and maybe other guys who say, hey, I can't hit that one, but I can hit this one?
I think that's something that we bring a little different. Not only just Keon. I mean, obviously Keon had a great game where he can hit those long extended twos, but Ty's done a great job, and it's an area that we focused in on our guards to be able to get to some of those runners, which is where we see the game is going back to. Yeah, you had those extremes in previous years, but when you can get to that little mid-range area and throw the little floater or get to the 1-2 dribble pull-ups, where you don't necessarily have to get all the way to the basket and put yourself at risk of charging, getting your shot blocked or anything like that, gives us an opportunity, even on those missed shots, to be able to go in and rebound, so that we can help Oscar get another 20 rebounds.
Do you have to break the will of some players who just say, man, I don't want an 18-footer, I want to shoot a 23-footer, or do something different they're not accustomed to?
No, I mean, we still want to take good shots. It's what we try to teach them, and wherever that comes, in rhythm, in stride, whether that be a 23-footer, we've seen Ty shoot a couple of those as well, but in rhythm, or just to get into, like Keon was able to do, get into, the 17, 18-foot shot that's comfortable, and you're in rhythm, and it's a shot that we practice every day.
You said the dynamic seems to be changing with regard to taking it to. Is block charge one of the main reasons?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely is the main reason. It's a big it's one of the reasons, obviously, in teams that have shot blockers there. It ends in the same result, which is another opportunity for the team to get a different, you lose a possession.
Right.
So we don't want to give teams extra possessions, and this is another added tool that our guys can have in their toolbox.
Speaking of 20 rebounds, where is Oscar in terms of developing a low post game?
It's funny, Jerry, because Oscar was and has always had a low post presence. And with us wanting to expand his game a little bit, he's been able to show that 17-foot jump shot. But we still don't want it to negate his strength, which was being able to score around the basket. So it's just a matter of getting him back comfortable with playing with his back to the basket again, and then looking for opportunities for him to get touches around the basket, because he's a presence in there and can cause a lot of problems, and also allows him to draw some fouls and put people in foul trouble and get to the free throw line, which he's a pretty good free throw shooter as well.
For any team, how important is a low post presence?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. You have to have an inside presence, because on certain nights you're not going to be able to make shots. You're going to have to rely on your defense. You're going to have to rely on getting easier baskets, which may be coming off and scoring off your defense or going into the post. So, you know, those are the games that you shoot 70% from three and from the floor. Those are great, right? But we know that's not realistic. And in order to get to where we want to try to get, we've got to be preparing for those rough games that the ball isn't going in quite honestly, and we have to get easy baskets off of our defense or in the post or in the paint, and not necessarily just the post, but in the paint.
I noticed, I think it was before the Ohio game, warming up, you were working with him on each block.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, when I'm in the games, I can't quite figure out when he gets the ball, what he's thinking about attempting to do, like up and under or whatever, baby hook. What is his
Well, you're noticing the same issues that we're noticing and watching on tape, is that he's got a lot going on in his head, right? It's to simplify it. You don't need to be overcomplicated. Just get to a spot, get to your hooks. And once they figure out how to stop that, then you counter it. That's it. You shouldn't have 13 things going in your head. I'm gonna up and under step through, I'm gonna dance. No, we're not doing all that. Just keep it simple, get to a spot, be strong and explosive. So I'm just trying to keep that to a minimum so that his head is not cluttered.
How good are his teammates in feeding him the ball in the post? And how good is he as establishing a target to, you know, like, here's my left hand, throw it here?
Yeah, I mean, he's really good. He's really good. I mean, he's strong, he's wide, and he knows how to leverage. And so our guys are doing a good job when the opportunities are there to get him the ball. And he just got to keep seeking those opportunities. And, you know, we look to try to continue to build off that.
You worked with Kofi, correct, at Illinois?
Yes.
I haven't seen him play, but what kind of low post game does he have, and how does it compare to Oscar?
He's a big boy.
I know that.
Yeah, he's a big boy, and he's doing great. He had a great game last night, and so when you have big bodies that way, you want to learn how to leverage it. You got to get low, you got to run, work for positioning early, do your work early, those kind of things. And you know, not just with Oscar, but also working with Lance on some of those things, and even Damian, even though he may be a little bit more frail of stature, but just figuring out and understanding the timing of when to post. You don't want to get in there mud wrestle like Oscar. Oscar can mud wrestle. Damian's not going to mud wrestle. He's going to use quickness, element of surprise, angles, anticipation, those kind of things. So those are some of the things that we're trying to teach those guys to incorporate into their game.
It seemed like against Ohio, Bryce really thrived when he was forced kind of into the post a little bit more because of the foul trouble situation. Where is he in that part of his game versus playing on the perimeter, which it seems like where you all want him to play mostly?
You know, Bryce has a unique game. He's got a lot of versatility to his game because he's so skilled, and he is 6'7", 220, so he can play both inside and outside. He can handle the ball. He's got great touch. You know, our challenge to him is to continue to get him to stay motored up, keep after it on the defensive side and rebounding, and let the rest of the game come to him. But he's someone that you certainly can throw in the post and post him, or you can have him out on the perimeter where he can handle the ball, make shots, and make plays for other guys. You know, you've seen him rebound the ball in games and bring it down and be able to make good decisions. He's capable of all of that. You know, it's just a matter of him continuing to feel confident, develop, and get himself in the best shape possible so that when his opportunity arises, he can maximize those chances.
In your playing days, how much low post play did you do?
I was a center in high school, Jerry, and then had to learn how to become a wing. So I've always had a feel in the post, and you know, then started to have to develop my outside game and shooting. I didn't shoot a three till I got to college, so
Yeah,
I had to work to get. I got a bunch of guys that blame me a lot for their turnovers, but I was in the post. I wasn't handling the ball.
Speaking of turnovers, how do you feel like Ty has kind of progressed from game to game? Early on, your shot wasn't falling, but the last couple of games, it seemed like he's found ways to pick his spots and kind of just slow the game down.
Yeah, Ty is very unique for a young player because he has this certain poise to him where he doesn't rush the game. He lets the game come to him. He's not trying to seek it. He goes into the flow of the game. You guys have noticed at times you think, okay, He may not look like he's running hard. He may not look like this, and all of a sudden he's got 20. You know, he just lets it come to him, and that's a great attribute to have for a young player in a guard. But when it comes down to when we need to make some plays, he's the guy that's going to be making some plays for us. You know, his continuing to grow and getting comfortable and feel in the chemistry that he and Xavier have, and some of those other guys have with him, it's just starting to flourish and starting to show. You know.
What's your challenge to him as you guys continue to get more usage and more, responsibility out of it?
He's got to continue to defend. He's got to continue to push. He's got to get in great shape because we're going to demand a lot of him. He's earned the right to be starting and playing the way he's playing, and we're gonna need to continue to lean on him. So he's got to make sure that he's in great shape.
How unusual is it for any freshman or any player to let the game come to him as opposed to forcing the issue?
It's rare, special. That's why when you see someone doing it, it stands out because the instinct is to want to try to make an impact right away, right? He's got all these accolades, he's got all this hype coming to him, and you want to try to put your stamp on the game, and sometimes that becomes a detriment to the team, and he doesn't allow that. He just flows with the team and the guys. It just adds to the great chemistry that our team has.
Cal talks about these being tune-up games to a degree, and I know you don't want Oscar in foul trouble, but what have you learned about your team when he's off the court? Because Cal says we need him on the court.
Well, we've learned that some other guys can get in there and mix it up. Obviously, he gave Damian and Bryce an opportunity. Keon is much improved in that area as well. When we get Lance and Jacob back, those guys will also be in the mix in terms of going and doing some of the same things that Oscar does. Now, Oscar's unique, obviously. He's got a gift of anticipation and his motor to pursue balls, and once he gets those vice grips on them, it's hard to take it away from him. But our guys go up against him every day, so they're learning from him, they're challenging him, and in that regard, iron sharpens iron, so they're becoming better at it as well.
Cal said a few times that you all need Dante. What exactly do you need from him? I mean, there's a bunch of other shooters on this team. What role does he need to fill?
Dante needs to be the best version of himself, which is being himself, getting himself prepared to catch and shoot balls, and he's getting better defensively for us. Spending a lot of time watching film, positioning himself before the guys catch the ball, so he doesn't catch him by surprise, and he stays in an athletic stance and those kind of things. So, we're going to need everybody on this team to be able to, when their name gets called, to step in and produce.
Speaking of that, given how well Kellen's been shooting this year, are you guys trying to encourage him more to shoot when he gets the opportunities, just based off of screens or catch and shoot? Because it seems like a couple times in the Albany game, he might have hesitated for a second.
Yeah, Kellen's a smart player, veteran player, and I'm not sure how much you're going to tell a guy that has 2,000 points on. Take those opportunities when they're there. When you feel like you can make them, shoot them. I think it's another luxury that we have on this team to have a guy that's a veteran that's not going to try to force shots, but will knock them down and make plays when he has them.
Why do you think you guys have been so effective rebounding? Is rebounding just an effort thing, or is it a technique thing, or what is it?
It's a combination of all those. It's a combination of will, it's a combination of skill, and it's a combination of want to. And again, with our guys having to battle with Oscar every day, it elevates everybody's ability to go rebound. And that's an area that we want to continue to keep setting a benchmark on. I think right now we're one of the top in the country. We want to keep that. That's limiting teams to opportunities and us getting second and third opportunities. We want to try to have as many opportunities as we can so that we can win.
And you've had to work probably a little harder as a team to shake some of these teams that you played at home. Probably harder than most fans would have anticipated. They expect you to blow everybody's doors off in the opening tip. And there have been extenuating circumstances with foul trouble and all, but in a way, just a good thing that you're having to learn on the fly how to deal with different styles and foul trouble here and there, and guys aren't hitting it, some guys are.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's what the season brings. It's what the challenges of the game brings, and for us to learn about our team, for us to learn how to win in different situations when different guys need to step up. You know, winning is really, really hard. You know, I know our fans may not think that, but it's really, really hard. Whether you win by 1 or you win by 30, we just want to keep adding them on to the left-hand side of the column.
Which side of the coin do you look at? You want to win by 30, you want to beat the doors off people, like Dick said, but it's also something to be said if you win by 5 or 6 or 7 early to learn how to deal with those tight ball games.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's what Coach was referencing in terms of, like, you know, tune-up games and playing a team, you know, with the caliber of an Ohio team that was an NCAA team with veteran guys that know how to win, that you have to go and beat, right? They're not gonna let you win; you have to beat them, and so it means you have to execute. You've got to finish plays. You've got to be assignment sound on your defensive principles and all those things. And that's what you want to see, especially this early on. You know, usually you're getting some of that stuff in mid to late December.
North Florida's 1-5, that suggests tune-up game. What do you?
Does that suggest that to you?
It does.
It's the next opportunity for us to get better, Jerry. Honestly, and we're not looking at, we're respecting our opponents, but it's an opportunity for our team to grow and get better. There's areas of our game that we need to keep getting better, tightening up, to prepare for where we want to try to go. And they just happen to be the next opponent on our schedule.
Orlando, there's been a lot of speculation about what Shaden Sharp can do when he gets here. What do you think realistic expectations should be for a guy who's that talented, but is coming into the team in the middle of the year?
You know what? That's a question I think that Cal can answer. We're extremely excited that he's going to be here with us to get acclimated to our culture, to get to be working out, and it's another guy that's going to be able to push us in practice and get used to the strength and conditioning program and the nutritional program, all that stuff. And then what happens from there, you know, I think it's anybody's guess.
One other thing for me, I'm wondering, Carter Hendrickson, I think he leads North Florida in scoring and rebounding. How does he strike you as an opponent?
He's a good player. He's a good player. We know that he's a kid that's coming home. You know, I know that Coach Valentine will be here to support his former pupil, and you know, he's a kid that's shooting the ball extremely well, great size, physical, and you know, he's someone that we know that's going to come and try to have a good game for him. He's a big part of their team. So